So good morning, everyone. Today I'm in conversation with Alexandra Reynolds about her institution and virtual exchange. So I'm going to ask Alexandra, please can you introduce yourself and tell us where you work and what your role is?
Hello, everyone. My name's Alexandra Reynolds, and I work at the University of Bordeaux in France. And I teach English and linguistics, and I do research in the same field.
Okay, Alexandra, now you told me before that at the University of Bordeaux, you have been using virtual exchange for the past 5 years. I understand. Can you tell me a bit about how it works at Bordeaux?
Yes, so we started to implement a virtual exchange for university students from year 1 to year 3 and masters about 5-6 years ago. We had a kickoff sort of initiative with a project called New Deal, which allowed us with some funds to sort of experiment with virtual exchange and to see how we could integrate that into the syllabus. And after that kickoff period, which was 3 years, we now have about 20 virtual exchanges which are integrated into the syllabus. And what was really important for us was that it would be credited with European ECTS. And so students could get grades and it goes towards their final degree.
So you have a lot of virtual exchanges going on. And when we do our training and we're trying to help academics, teachers set up these virtual exchanges, they do often speak about a lack of support within their institutions. You talk about it took you 3 years, but it sounds like it was smooth. Was it? How did you get that? How did you get that support within your institution? What were some of the challenges that you came across then?
Well, to be honest with you, we started off small. So the first year we had 1 or 2 virtual exchanges, and every year we increased over the 3-4 year period. So we added. The support came from this initial project called New Deal, and mainly from myself, who was encouraging everyone to do this. It wasn't smooth, no, in any way, because the what we call the structure of the syllabus is quite set in stone. And if you want to integrate new things, you have to put them in parallel with other courses. And that creates a competition, which is not something the French system has so much, perhaps more in the American system, where students get to choose courses. So now students, not only did we have virtual exchange, but they also had a choice and an option, which was very new for the French system. So this created some conflict in a way between these new programs.
Mm. So you told me you work in the field of languages. You're a language teacher. Can I ask, are your virtual exchanges revolved only around language teaching, or have you managed to diversify a bit?
They are run by the language department for the science faculty, which is where I work. So they're very much English for specific purposes virtual exchanges. So we have a virtual exchange, which is called Geology Virtual Exchange. We have one for chemistry. It's called Chemistry Virtual Exchange. We have one with Cincinnati, which is also very science-based. So there's definitely it's not it's a language for the specific disciplines that our students study in the science faculty.
Are they popular?
Very popular, yes. We also have one with Stanford University, which is about 50 people on the waiting list, obviously because Stanford is renowned and everybody wants to get on that one. So that's also with PhD students from Stanford and our undergraduates. So there's also a nice exchange between these two different age groups.
And do you have so we've talked about the challenges, but within Bordeaux University, you're leading it, but do you have a little hub now? Do you have a team that's on board with virtual exchange? How did you build that? You do?
I think there was a group of people who already interested in experimenting with that, and we have colleagues who do research in telecollaboration and virtual exchange here who've been working on these themes for a while. So we did have people who were already looking for a way to integrate, and this was sort of an opportunity. So now we have a team, definitely, and we have support mainly from international relations, the chair for international relations. So yes, yes.
So it's
We have
grown.
a good team.
That's great. So so the whole thing about virtual exchange and international collaboration also hinges on finding the right partner. And in fact, at UNICollaboration, we often do partnering fairs for people to try and reach out and find each other. What have you done at Bordeaux to reach out and find your partners? In which countries in particular do you work with? Do you have the same people, or how do your partners is it a repetition with the same partners, or are you always expanding?
So we were lucky in that we didn't reach out to find partners at a fair, for example. We have staff who have research affiliations with some other universities, and it was because of these affiliations or friendships with colleagues that they were able to start these virtual exchanges. So that was really much more through a network of researchers and friends. Then we have a consortium that's called Enlight. So Bordeaux is part of a consortium of 7 universities. And I must admit, we didn't sort of work together because something was done, but we had opportunities to meet either through a conference or some meeting. And that's when we spoke, we then decided to do virtual exchange together. So again, meeting people, and in fact, meeting people face to face,
It's the
although
personal
I know we're
contact,
advocates
isn't
of
it?
virtual exchange, it's really important. So we work mainly with the University of Göttingen. We work with Bratislava. We work with Cincinnati. We work with Stanford. We work with Padova for the virtual exchange in chemistry. Oh, I don't want to forget anyone, but we have a lot of friends who work with us.
I'm hearing from you that the personal relationship is paramount, the first thing. What other advice would you give to other academics at universities or in higher education interested in doing this, but kind of not really knowing where to start or where to go with it?
So difficult. I think perhaps in your own mind first, decide what you would like to do and do it with, rather than sort of going around thinking, I want to do something, but construct your own project. Who would you like to work with, and what would you like to do? And once you've built that sort of basic plan, like a mind map, maybe perhaps, then go out and reach out afterwards, but with something a little bit concrete about what you would like to do first as a starting point.
How important do you think, so at UNICollaboration, we do training in the actual methodology. How important do you think having an understanding of that training is before embarking on such a project?
Well, you might not know it, but actually a lot of our facilitators and teachers have done the training with UNICollaboration. And if they haven't, they will do it after perhaps 1 or 2 years of doing virtual exchange, just to get that little extra support. You can train with other colleagues who've done it before, but setting out on your own, well, I think would be a challenge without any training at all, because it's nothing like teaching English, for example. You need skills in mediation, conflictual situations. We currently encourage all of our practitioners to do training.
Fantastic. And can I, as a final thought, what's in your mind, what have you seen as the value added in integrating virtual exchange, both from the perspective of you as teachers, but also from the learners? What are people getting out of this experience?
It's not new what I'm going to say, it's been said many times before, but the fact that you meet people from outside of your university. So for me, for research, it's very important to to work with people from other universities. Also for me to see how different universities structure their courses, how they grade, what are the criteria for passing or failing, for example. All these things are very interesting to me. The colleagues who facilitate have found it to be very different to what they usually do in the class. They like having students that are not just from Bordeaux within their group. And this is something that they enjoy. And the students, above all, you know, whether they're doing chemistry or geology or some other subject, what they appreciate the most is interacting with other students. But this, you know already, this is nothing new.
Good to say it, good to keep saying it. One final thought that I forgot to pick up on actually, which is always the issue of accreditation. And you said your students get credited. How difficult was that to set up?
That took quite a few years because first the institution has to accept that the course is valid and that it is worth being part of the syllabus. So you need the heads of colleges, the heads of universities to agree to that. Then you need to say how many credits it's going to be worth. So define the workload. You need to define what we call the different evaluations. We have a strict rule of a minimum of 3, with some grades not worth more than 40%, for example. So all that has to be designed. You have to give the objectives and the outcomes. So all this has to be written up, and someone else, the whole team needs to read it and approve it. And we need, so that we don't create any extra costs, because we don't have the money to create new courses, we have to say this course will replace another course. Students can choose between this one and this one. So it needs to be of the same value in credits, for example.
Thank you, Alexandra, for your time today, for this really informative interview. Is there anything you'd like to add before we wrap up? Any other advice or any other things you'd like to add about virtual exchange?
It's a challenge, but it's well worth it. And if you're feeling blue about it, just remember that it's really great for the students, and it's a very enriching experience. And I would encourage you to try it out.
Oh, thank you again, Alexandra, for your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.